Remember when we used to do that all the time? The old drum roll thing. The question that remains today is it going to be us playing a session on this lovely Easter Monday in the style of the Menace? I'm not wearing this mask for the whole stream, or even really at all if it wins. Instead, what I'll maybe do is just wear the hair of the Menace, and a Sideshow Bob sort of thing. I think we'll just do that. It's too creepy otherwise. Like, what if someone's kid walks into the room and just looks at the laptop? Can't have that. As a dad, you know, I could never have that. I couldn't be responsible for that kind of terror in young ones. Or is it going to be the polar bear? That doesn't smell as bad now, actually. This mask smelled really terrible for a few days. I think the paint has like finally dried and is no longer secreting the toxins. Polar bear. I'll wear it as a visor. This morning I went to get coffee at my local cafe as the Menace. And I walked in and she said, "What can I get for you?" And I swiped the display of cakes off the counter as the Menace. And the waitress said, "The hell did you do that for?" And I said, "You just count yourself lucky that I didn't spin the polar bear this morning. Because that would have been a hell of a lot worse." Let's get a sip of coffee. Sip of coffee. Sip of coffee, guys. And we're going to play another long, arduous grind of a session today. Hello, Lamb, in the chat. What's going on? Stir the coffee. Drink the coffee. Spin the wheel. But first, who do you want to see today? You want to see the style of the Menace? Lots of reopening action, lots of small bets, lots of bets all over the place. Donk bets, probe bets, lead bets, all kinds of bets. Bets, raises. 3 bets on the flop. Never leaving the action closed. Never checking. Sometimes checking. Sometimes you have to check. Or do you want to see the style of the polar bear? Lots of flop checking. Very big flop c-bets. Half pot c-bets on what would normally be range bet boards with some checking. Big turn bets, pot delayed c-bets, playing loads of nodes like facing probe delayed c-bet, going to river a bit more. Let me mute the stream because it's just started playing. Go away past the peak. Okay, so get your votes in the chat. Who do you want to see? Let's now, without any further ado, spin the wheel. But first, it is the Easter sale at Carrot Corner for only today. It ends at midnight UK time tonight. That is 7 PM Eastern time, or 3 PM Pacific time, if you will. You can get 20% off the Silver Carrot to start your poker career, and if you're ready to go all in and get the rest of the Carrot Poker School and Weapons of War and full access to the Golden Library forever that we'll be adding to very soon, then you may well want to go for the Golden Carrot. That is about $200 cheaper only for Easter, and you get a database review with resident database expert James Shea. One of the best offers we've ever done, because it's not just a discount, it is a personal look into your game and a personal video recorded for you by James as he looks over your stats. So that is only with the Golden Carrot and only until the end of the day. Do not forget, there is going to be a hard close on this at 12 AM tonight. Hello, Insurrection. Hello, Cydrus. Hello, Lamb. Get your votes in. Let's spin right now. It is the polar bear, ladies and gentlemen. There's no ambiguity about it. That is the polar bear. The Menace will have to wait, which is kind of fitting because I've not done the polar bear yet, and I hadn't done the weasel yet on a stream, and I hadn't done the warrior yet when we did that on Thursday. So here we are, going to be playing the polar bear style. How dare you go live at the same time as Shu, taking all her viewers with no mercy? To be fair, Shu should know better because I've had this stream scheduled since Thursday. I'm a very organized poker businessman, educator, streamer. Thank you very much. Anyway, it's good to see you. Hopefully it's a fun session. You could multi-table me and Shu, have her dance music, my commentary. When she goes crazy and runs some insane bluff, you could switch back to her. Yeah, could watch Shu. Shu might be playing the polar bear as well. We did that on Friday. Menace, because I haven't seen it before. There is a YouTube video about the Menace Idris. It's called How to Play a Red Line Style. You have to give the YouTube videos like different titles. You can't say, I played a session as the Menace, or it's like, that's not a thing. No views. 40 views. We'll show that to 40 people. And it's like your dad. Your wife. Yeah, thanks, YouTube. Hopefully it's a fun session. Hopefully, yeah. Let's switch scenes here. Let's go to the 2-table P&E. Play and explain, that means, by the way, guys. And let's do this. Polar bear. So to run through my strategy quickly. Well, first off, the mask. Run through my strategy quickly. What we will be doing. I think we need to just... We need to ditch the headphones. I quite like music. How's this going to work, guys? How is this going to work? How is this going to work? It's going to work like this. Is that creepy? That is the most lifelike mask, right? Like it's one of the creepier masks because it looks like an actual bear. And bears look a bit like dogs. I just realized how much bears look like dogs today. They must be like descended from dogs or vice versa or something, right? Am I right? Like at some point in the evolutionary chain? Let me know if I'm right. So we're going to be playing big flop c-bets, like 2x pot. And we're going to be playing big delayed c-bets when check 2 there, but not as big, maybe pot. Depends on the texture though. I like to make it quite texturally dependent. And we're going to be playing a lot of check, a lot of facing probe, some raising of probe, some fun stuff. It's not a strategy where we're going completely out of our way to battle. It's a normal kind of pre-flop game plan. And our 3-bet pot strategy is going to be pot check on low boards and half pot check on the other boards. So I won't be playing any third pot c-bets today unless it's like monotone. Polar bear goes maybe third pot and monotone. That's about it. Okay, let's go. Deal me in, dealer. Let's put the coffee over here. We have no space on this desk. Finally get my computer back from getting fixed, my main one. I will build a new desk that arrived and I will have a glorious setup once more. But for now, we have an extremely cramped, horrible setup. That is what it is. We've got a laptop. We've got a second monitor. Let's go. Let's go. Left the guy off of on a monotone board with absolute air earlier on the turn while I was setting up flex. Okay, ace-5 going to scan table. Not going to open on that table. Queen-10. This looks like a recreational player, and against the recreational player, I'm not going to mix any 3-bet with this hand. You could mix a small amount of 3-bet with this hand against someone that's likely to not over-defend. We were playing the big flop raise today as well. I'm not going to raise this hand in this spot against hijack. I think call is slightly higher EV. I want to lead the turn. I'm not playing in the style of someone that leads the turn. That said, I am still going to lead the turn. And the reason is that it's just a better play against the recreational player here. They're going to check back many, many hands that they're going to call with. They're going to call with 9's diamond here. They're going to call with ace-king here. They're going to call with ace-10 here. They're going to check back a bunch of those hands. When they don't raise on turn, we're obviously in very good shape. The question is, what do we want to do on river? I think I will overbet, despite the fact I don't have a diamond. Because I think there's a lot of hands like ace, king, ace, jack, sets, just stuff like this in villain's range that are likely to call. He did actually have a flush, which is a bit unfortunate. What can you do? I think overbet's still good there, especially with the speed of the turn call and how likely the bigger flushes are to raise. The smaller flush does make sense, so. Okay. Not going to go giant here. I do think people will probably struggle to fold a 10 with sizing like this. I think this is a good sizing, therefore. We'll go 3x in the small blind today. Let's do that. Let's go polar small blind. Not polar small blind, linear small blind, but bigger. I'm not taking guess while I'm playing. I find that too distracting. I will be streaming for a while. I don't know exactly. But if you're still around when I finish playing and I take a couple of guests on, then you could jump on Insurrection. That'd be good. But no pressure. Don't like... Let's not pencil anything in concretely just in case it doesn't work for one of us. But yeah, be good to catch up with you on stream at some point. So definitely recommend you lead turn in that spot against the recreational guys. It's just one of those spots where the underbluffing is going to be extreme. I'm going to usually call this combo a little bit of 3-bet with this one. I still don't have my RNG set up, so I'm just kind of vibing today with the frequencies. I am going to peel quarter pot here in position because I feel like there's enough maneuverability. There's enough ways this can go well for me. I think people are betting range when they probably shouldn't be. Turn is quite an interesting spot. Maybe go 3x button today or 2.5. I go 2.5 button here today mostly. I don't have that hotkey set up though. There's not a ton I can rep by raising turn here. Like I don't make a ton of 2-pair on this card. I have a bit of king 8, king deuce, and probably my hand should raise sometimes. This river spot's really interesting because villain's range on the turn here is really polarized. Not really polarized, but it's going to be like an ace or a king. And I don't think those hands are going to fold river and actually beat a lot of bluffs here like jack 10, etc. We do lose to queen jack chop with queen 10. But I think against humans, the way they construct here, check is higher EV than bet, because I think a king or an ace is going to call the river. And I don't think there's too many like 8x. There could be a bit of like 8x and stuff in villain's range there. I think generally a king or an ace is looking to call river there. And we do show down and win against like quite a lot of the other bluffs. So checking back there with queen, hattie, queen 10, queen jack, I don't mind. Obviously bluffing anything less. It is bottom of range, and in theory we're meant to bluff that spot. The problem is I don't actually think people are folding the range they go third pot and then check turn with there. I don't think so. That said, you could convince me that maybe I should still just try and make a king or an ace fold. I actually don't know like how often it's what are we doing here? Half pot check. I'll go half pot with this combo. I don't mind check either. Yeah, you could convince me that I should bluff that river. I'm not sure, but I do think that generally speaking there, pool's not going to fold ace or king. I could go for like a big sizing. It's just not a spot I have a ton of like natural value for a big sizing though. This line by me doesn't make a ton of sense. It's going to get called a lot, but I think it's okay. Right, I'm going to put my coffee down so I can actually focus now and stop timing out. I think there's some stuff like ace high, misdraws, same hand as me there that recreationals are playing that way. I'm not actually focused, guys. Give me 1 second. I need to put this coffee down. Right, lock in. Come on. Let's go. Let's get some music going, get some vibes going, start playing well. Yeah, I don't take guess when I'm playing. It does make me play bad. Sometimes I play bad anyway, though. I'm going to defend 5-3 off here against this sizing. This is the guy I bluffed off of nothing earlier on the monotone board, just so he knows. So I'm playing bigger flop raises today. So I'm going to be playing call in this spot as polar bear. 2-pair, I'm going to be betting quite a strong value range on this turn. It's going to be mostly like 8x and stuff. Plus, against this sizing, I'm going to raise. This is mostly like a 1-pair sizing draw sizing. And I think we can actually go pretty big here. I'm going to be going bigger 3-bet sizes pre. And they just jam river. I guess we just have to fold. I guess this is like a 4 or some sort of straight most of the time. It's a 16 V pepper. Like, it's just not going to be the sort of player that jams an overpair out of tilt, I don't think. I mean, it's always possible. But yeah, I think this is just a fold, guys, against this player profile, unfortunately. I am going to fold. I'm going to fold the 5-3 there. It could be some sets as well that are just like, don't really know what to do and they're kind of frustrated, but I expect it to be like 2-pair plus. Don't think this is the sort of player to donk jam the river with a bluff essentially ever in that spot. So yeah, happy with that fold. Still going to be playing min from early position while playing the strategy. I don't know, Justin, what do you think about that spot where they check the river? and we have the queen high. Like, we have some amount of showdown. They have a king or an ace a lot for value. What do you think of our fold equity there? And would you bluff, or would you take the showdown of the queen high in that spot? It feels like wrong, given that I've made the whole Carrot Poker School and River Blunder theorem, and that line is like, you've got bluff bottom of range, and we're really not far from bottom of range. It feels kind of wrong to check. That said, I just think it's kind of an underfolded spot. I think I just go like, pot there, and like a king just snap calls, and it's like, yeah, okay. It just feels like one of those spots. Not playing donk bet today, just to simplify out. I would normally play donk bet. This is a spot I'm going to play kind of depolar, kind of polar on, but not like as polar as some other turn cards. Going to go for B75 here. Huge or even shove is interesting, yeah. Oh, you actually answered before I even asked you. Yeah, it's interesting, right? Gonna 3-bet ace queen suited. Oh, we're gonna go bigger with the 3-bet sizes today as well, guys. Actually, I'm gonna play a little bit more polarization. So this one I should actually go bigger as a polar bear, but then again, against the stack, I don't really have to. But we'll go a bit bigger with the sizes today. Snap 4-bet, huh? Okay. 36 VPIP. And there's a cold call from Recreational as well. This is quite close with ace queen suited. It's right on my threshold. I think it's probably just about a fold, but it's right on my threshold. I call jacks for sure. 10s ace queen suited seems close. Like, generally in these all-in pre-spots, 10s and ace queen suited function very similarly. Like, if you're going to get it in with one, you get it in with the other. I think ace king jacks plus ace queen suited 10s feel really break even there. There's always the chance the guy that's cold called behind just has queens and isn't going to fold as well. Then it can get even more expensive. Then again, there's more dead money. I don't know about that spot, guys. Again, a really close one right on my threshold. The full king 6 on this table. This is 100 NL, yep. Yeah, the huge sizing I should have given a bit more thought to. It's just one of those spots where, like, you're aware when you go huge there with all these combos of miss gutter that you're just playing an absurd overbluffing strategy, right? Because, like, what do you have that can go huge? You can go huge with, like, an ace there, maybe. You can overbet an ace, perhaps, because, like a decent ace. Yeah, in general, it's not going to be great, right? Playing big bet check here. This is one of the hands I'm going to check at the highest frequency of the air hands. It has these, like, middling dangler cards that block more folds. When I have, like, big card, low card there, like ace 4, etc., I'm going to be betting a really high frequency. 10-9, closer to a pure check in my range. I don't think it is a pure check, but it's closer to it. I studied this a lot when I was building Modern Master Plan. Of course, it's not out yet. Right, 2.5. Yeah, I don't think the 5-3 hand was really close. Just go for the rep. Yeah, that's playing as the warrior. But no, it might be a good spot for it. Yep. Might well be. Rough start to the session, guys. Struggling to win a pot today. That can happen, though. When you get started to the session like this, it's very important you just remember it's one big marathon, that you don't react to it. You just keep playing. You just keep grinding. It doesn't mean that there's any kind of narrative. A start to the session like this does not imply that you're doing something wrong, that, you know, that your opponents are exploiting you or something is happening. There's some narrative that you've got to weave into it to explain what's happening to you. That's what your brain wants to do when you first start out in poker. So if you're quite new to the game and you experience a start to a session like this, it's very easy to start lashing out, losing willpower, and spiraling and snowballing. And I see a lot of students play a bad session because they just gradually spiral into their F game because nothing's going their way and they don't get anything to, like, stabilize them, boost confidence, etc. I see that a lot. And you have to be very careful with that kind of pattern, because once you ingrain that, it can happen to you all the time. Right now, actually, if I'm super objective about what I've been doing, I'm actually quite happy with my play overall today. This is interesting where I've got two recreational players. I'm actually going to play cold call here. I'm going to use the bigger sizing pre, so it does mean a little bit more cold calling as Polar Bear today. That's the style. I'm with two recreationals behind and a reg button cutoff here. It's going to be an okay spot to cold call sometimes. I'm going to full flop. I don't think we can make this winning. That sizing there with the recreational in the pot's actually like a little bit scary. Like I'd expect that to be a strong range. Kind of like a scroll up, you know. Okay, we get recreational player limping under the gun here. Please fold ace queen. I did fold ace queen. I do think it's somewhat close against that VPip. It's close to a flop fold here against this limping range, honestly. The only saving grace is they're probably going to bet random merged hands like a 10 or jacks or something like that. You could maybe fold a flop there, actually. If you're playing like elite A game, it might even be a flop fold. Don't mind it at all. Splash pot. Let's go. Or not. We are not going to be limping this one. So yeah, when you get start to a session like that, and this is nothing, by the way, this could go on for like an hour where you just get stacked a few times. You obviously get a lot of worse starts to the session than like slowly bleeding away a buy-in or whatever we've done today. But when that happens to you, it's so important just to be like, right, what's my protocol? I always say to students, think about the uber short term and the uber long term. Mega long term, mega short term. These are your two frames of reference. So majorly long term thinking is like, in 2 years' time, how will I want to have performed in every session that I've played? How will I want to have reacted? Queen 8 against under the gun men. This is super close. I think we can actually just fold this one against under the gun. You'll have wanted to perform with discipline, restraint, patience, just playing the best poker you're capable of at the time. I will go 2.6x against the stack. I will 4-bet here. They're quite polar though in this spot, so even though I'm polar bear, I'm still not going to use a very big sizing here or anything. They have a lot of auto folds and then a lot of auto jams in this spot. They have some calls as well, but not as many as they would if they were more merged, like cut off button. And then the uber short term is just like focusing on the hand you're currently in, right? And how can you play that well? I'm not going to play a check and range here at all, so even though I'm playing polar bear overall, I'm still just going to go very small on that flop. Plenty of time to stack an ace. Slightly bigger 3-bet here. Slightly more selective with 3-bet, just playing bigger pots pre. Looking to pot flops or B80 or whatever, just bet really big on flop, depending on the SPR. And do a lot of checking on the flop out position in a 3-bet pot today as well. So the mega short term is just like dialed in, locked in. What's the best play with ace jack right here? Okay, I've got a potentially weaker player in the big blind here. I could 3x. I don't really know. 2.5. That's like mega short term. Mega long term is like, what will I have wanted to do over 2 years? And basically the mega long term and the mega short term are the same thing. You just want to perform well and do your best and stick to your game plans and study, have the right study play ratio, pick up the silver carrot, watch silver carrot content like Cash Injection, Grade 1, Carrot Poker School, that sort of thing. Make seamless plugs while streaming, never really break character, that sort of thing. Wear polar bear mask. That's sort of stuff that converges over the long term. And the medium term is bullshit. And the reason the medium term is bullshit is that it's different from the mega short term and mega long term. What's the difference between polar bear and warrior? Polar bear uses bigger sizes than warrior from an earlier part in the game tree and is less hungry to seek out like loads and loads of spots, basically. I'm going to call here and I'm going to fold this one just because I'm involved over here in a hand that I want to give my full attention. It's a break-even hand, but a little trick for you is just not to get involved if you think you're going to be... And this one here as well, I don't actually need to get involved in those positions with ace queen, right? I just don't need to. It's an optional thing. If I'm playing as warrior, I'll always take that spot. Okay, we face pot here, which means our fold equity is kind of low. We're dominated by some other draws. Raise here is still okay with this much equity. Like it's not going to be a bad play. But in general, I favor call in these lines, in these nodes. And we are going to bluff the river for some sizing. We're just going to say that we have an ace, pick a size when it's congruent with an ace. If villain has like kings or something, they're probably not going to fold. Do we want to go big here? Snap checks turn. I think we'll just go like near pot. I think this is about right. Going to go for a small 4-bet here with ace queen. Not a spot for big sizing. Again, villain has a lot of auto folds and then some jams in that spot. Again, don't have a lot of calls in that situation against cold 4-bet. The more natural calls your opponent has and the more mergy they are, the more you want to size up. And the more they have like chalk and cheese hands that either just jam or fold, the more you want to size down with your 4-bets. You want to assess that in the spot. Okay, so building a bit of momentum. Glad we didn't freak out earlier. I'm never going to freak out, by the way. I don't really care, but like I'm just modeling how this would go for a student of mine that's like shotting the stake for the first time, something like that, right? Mega short term, mega long term. Just remember that in the moment, and then where do you want to be? How are you going to look after future you in 3 years in poker? What are you going to do? Those two things are actually the same thing a lot of the time. What you should do for you in 3 years is the very best thing to do in the moment. The medium term is like, oh no, look at my graph over 32,000 hands. It's not as good as the last 32,000 hands. Oh no, what should I change? Oh no, my bluffs haven't worked today. I need to stop bluffing. Like Shu was saying to me on stream last week, I don't think I should be the warrior because it's not been going well. And it's like, come on. You played a few sessions where your bluffs didn't get through. Generally, when she's playing well, she picks good spots to bluff as well. Like, definitely picks good spots to bluff. So here's our first example of a big flop bet today, guys. Eights, we still have a lot of showdown in this node. Villain has a lot of sixes, king high here. They have a bit of nines, tens. It's close between one big blind and check. I'm going to check, though. It's close. Maybe one big blind, like B10 is better. So yeah, I'm happy with my discipline so far today. This has been a pretty good session so far, performance-wise. So let's keep going. Build momentum, try and play your A game. Track yourself during the session. How close am I to playing my A game? I'm going to peel this against this player. I'm not sure this is a reg, and this call is kind of break even in theory anyway. And I'm playing some cold call today and bigger 3-bet, a bit less 3-betting, a bit more cold calling, and then giant check raises on flop and things like that. This spot's close. We have some deuces, we have some nines, we have probably a bit of ace-9 suited diamonds and hearts as well. A few combos. If this hand isn't a bluff, it's not clear what is a bluff. Villain checks back to flop. This could be a bad ace. It could be an underpair. None of these hands are going to fold particularly often. It could be nothing as well. I'm going to delay here. I think waiting until river is definitely better. And if this player checks again, they're going to have nothing a lot. I don't expect this to be super weak or anything that we can attack. You have to be careful against this pool on river. There are some spots where they just land with like enough absolute hand strength that they're just not folding enough, and that's something I've learned playing these games. That in theory, if there's a spot where villain needs to fold most of their king X to pot, like it's just not happening in that last hand, right? So with fold ace deuce to min, I think this is reasonable. Okay, so we've opened under the gun. We're playing third pot check here. I'm probably going to start off by betting my hand and am I going to start by betting my hand and doing a bit of barreling here? What is the fold equity like throughout this hand if I start barreling fives? It's not great, actually. I think I'm going to seek transparency instead. This is a perfectly okay hand to bluff flop with, but I think there's a lot of transparency from this player and this player here. And I think it's best to just seek transparency in these very face-up nodes where people are not going to be bluffing enough. Even their bluffs there in the turn beat me. They're like eights with a spade, right? Let's throw in a little polar 3-bet bluff ski with king 10. This is a hybrid, actually. This can go either way. You can get called by hands you're doing okay against here. Jack 10 suited, for example. And we are playing big bet check on this flop. I'm going to go ahead and bet 20.6 big blinds with my hand this time. We're also a bit awkwardly deep here, so villain might be a bit less inclined to shove than normal. We have a big combo draw here. This is interesting. That's a very interesting node. They have some nut flush here in this node, obviously. The problem is that reopening here subjects us to villain jamming. The upside is if they have a hand like red jacks or ace 9 or something like that, we can probably get a bluff through here quite often, but we're reopening, so it's a bit of a double-edged sword. It's either going to be like a bet call offline or it's going to be check. I think I'm going to just favor check. I think it's just the SPR is a little bit awkward here. If I had pot left, I think I'd just play, or under pot left, I would play shove. But I think I'm going to favor check here and just always realize and never have to pay like astronomical amounts. They do have some hands that are just like auto shipping turn as well. Looks like they're pretty strong here and we dodged the bullet by not betting turn in this node, which is results oriented. I'm just remarking it's not relevant to the strategy of the hand or anything. Okay, we'll call 4-bet here with ace king suited. Don't really want to face jam in this spot, but we'll probably have to call with ace king suited if we do. Don't think it's a fold. I think ace king off is probably a fold, and queens is probably a fold, and ace king suited kings and aces are get-ins here. I would imagine. 3x the spot with this hand. I think I'll just min this hand exploitatively because it's a bad hand. And it's okay to do that. No one really knows what I'm doing, right? The guy didn't 3-bet me with his 6-8 offsuit because I min opened instead of 3x'd. What are you guys saying, by the way? You've gone quiet. It's always disconcerting when you go this quiet. What's happening? Stream still good? Stream still good, right? Stream working. Yeah? Looks like it's working. How was your Easter weekend, guys? What you been up to? Tell me a story. What's been happening? Don't let me sit in this mask on my own, just talking to myself. Come on, look what I'm doing for you guys. Putting on this show for you. Don't subject me to this. I'm gonna cold call 10-9 at this stack depth. I'm playing a bigger 3-bet. I'm gonna like mostly call hands like this. Gonna show you guys a lot more cold call pots today with some polar float betting when check to. Gonna be playing a strategy like that today. Queen 6 off is very close. I don't mean to let it go though. So Jack, we're gonna lose to King Jack. What am I talking about? On a 9, sorry. We're going to lose to King Jack. I'm going to full flop here. I think this is not going to be realizable enough against this strong range. I don't really like the bluff route with this hand either. We get 3-bet here. What are you doing? 12. You're playing like a... Been pretty aggro so far. Don't know if this is a recreational player or not yet, though. If that's a reg, if I was playing seriously at this stake, I would scour lobby. I would actually know who the regs were already. And then if that was an active reg playing like that, I'd just throw in a very small 4-bet. And if it was a recreational, I would fold. And not knowing, I'm just going to fold for now. Because I can't be bothered checking. It's not like huge amounts of EV rest on it anyway. I like call King 10 here against the sizing. I fold against 2.5. So we had a winning day as the warrior, break-even day as the weasel. Let's see how we got on today as the polar bear. Silver Pass is currently £80 off at Carrot Corner. It is discounted. There's never been a cheaper time to start your poker education. Do check out the link in the description. Golden Carrot. You get a personalized coaching session, 30-minute video made just for you by our database expert, James Shea. He'll go through your entire database, comb it for leaks, send you a report of what you're doing wrong and what you need to fix as you make your way through our content at carrotcorner.com. My plugs sound like they're read out. She was like, are you reading a script? I was like, no, this is just my brain. Does it sound like I'm reading scripts? I'm actually honestly making these up as I go. Everything I say is completely unscripted, guys. Even in YouTube videos, I never script anything. Ever. Because it makes me sound awkward and weird if I script stuff. Yes, our stream's good. Good. Glad you're there. Hope you're enjoying it. Planet Sheen. Hope you're enjoying it. Don't be strangers, guys. Just listening. Fair enough. Locked in your commentary, big man. Fair. Right, big chap. How's it going, big chap? I'm playing bigger button open today. Come on. Remember what you're doing, Pete. Bigger button open. Close spot in many ways. 19 VPIP over, is this a big sample? 217, not really. Let's call this time. 4-bet's also fine here. As is fold. All three options are very close. King turn, I'm going to play range check. Not going to be leading king turn here. And I think there's a bit of showdown. We're blocking folding range on river here. Definitely not going to be a bet. Lower down queen jack. Things like this. I will bluff ace 5. I will bluff probably ace queen. I don't think so. Chop. It's got the 3. Makes sense. Ace queen is probably still a check on river for villain there. Ace jack might become a bluff. Something like that. Let's call jack 9. Go for the big flop check raise on flop here. Polar bear style, building this around 2 pair plus, and when we're building around 2 pair plus, we're going to go big. If we're deeper, we can go bigger. We're a little bit deeper here. Could have gone a bit bigger than this. It's like 100 big blind sizing. Interesting turn spot. Bet turn check river is a really good line here because villain has a ton of draws, and I don't think they're going to call down a naked overpair anyway. We block a jack, so I'm actually just going to go for 2/3 pot turn and check river with these blockers and just get villain to mine queen 10, diamonds, the bluff river or value bet a jack if he has it, hopefully. If he does have like jack 10 of hearts, we're going to lose out with this line. But if he's got 6s, he's going to value bet river anyway, right? So it's a really great spot to bet turn check river, guys. Really great line here. The problem with check turn is that this pool is likely just placid and just going into realizing mood. Realizing mode, I should say. Unfortunate. But yeah, you're going to get people to fold like overpair on that turn sometimes because they're not going to expect you to bluff a jack. Then others are just never going to be doing anything. Okay, so don't take my X posts too literally, Jasu Mason on Twitch. When I say blockers matter 1.3%, it's a random example. Someone posted on X and was like, if you just pulled this out of your ass, blah, blah, blah. And yes, kind of. Like, it's just it's the sentiment of the post that matters, not the exact number. But I can do a video or a short on, like, the impact of blockers on the river. Some spots, don't get me wrong, they're going to be massively important. And they're going to preside over, like, 5-10% of the pot. Other spots, they're going to preside over, like, a whisker. They're going to be nothing. Like, if the board is, like, really, I want to say heterogeneous in character, like, it's got a lot of different cards that aren't really connected, and there's not, like, one theme to the board. Like, we're not looking at, like, 3 flush, 4 flush, 3 straight. We're not looking at a spot where, like, a club is, like, a big deal, right? Then the blocker swing between the best bluff and a random bluff in equilibrium is likely something like 1 or 2%, right? Of course, this is, like, I don't know why people take stuff I say literally. I don't know why people are reading a tweet like that and they're like, 1.3% is like this guy's calculation of how much it matters. Like, no, clearly not. I'm speaking figuratively, right? But the point is that if you ignore exploitative factors like how overfolded, underfolded a spot is in favor of just thinking about blockers, you're probably ignoring something that's much more important to think about something that presides over less of the pot. And that's the problem, right? We do talk about blockers in Carrot Poker Skill. There are spots where they really do matter. We don't have loads of stuff about them, but we have some stuff about them because they do matter in some spots. I'm just saying, don't put blockers when it comes to river bluff selection before whether it's a good spot to bluff in terms of fold equity and exploitative reality, as I call it, right? With the recreational involved here, I'm going to delay my aggression with absolutely nothing here. If this was a tighter player, I might just bet flop. Okay, let's get out of the way of this one. At 3x here with 6-4. I am going to defend. I think this is super close, but I think I can make this winning. And I'll be playing bigger flop check raise when I raise here. 6 high flush draws usually just going to be played as a call. Going to check turn here, playing a bigger, very big polar bet in this case. And I'm going to go half pot on river with this hand. I think that's fine. Throwing a little cold 4-bet with the ace-10. Let's do it. Gotta do this sometimes. Hands okay for the job. Ace-10 suited, king-jack suited, ace-jack suited. These hands can make it in there sometimes. Rare, low frequency in this spot. This guy has kings, aces, ace, king suited probably. Would I jam ace, king off in this spot? I don't think so. I don't think so. You don't get Weasel so far, Simon? Weasel's just really about like staying out of bad spots. I did do like a bit of battling as well as Weasel because I just thought like a couple of the spots were too good not to bluff in. It's a pretty underbluff spot from Pool, this one in Big Blind, honestly. Not an attractive one for the cold 4-bit bluff for most people. Good morning, Fat King Louis on Twitch. Good morning, Harry4. Seems like it's a bit busier today, guys. You guys are more active. I like that. It's fun. Against quarter pot, this hand is still very close to a fold, but I'll go ahead and I'll play a bit of 3x here because it's just my hotkey. I go a bit 3x on button today. Just spice it up a bit, play some bigger pots on button. Going to be playing range check against small blind on this board. Like, I'm not even betting anything, I don't think. Not in theory, at least. Any utility to betting turn here? Not as polar bear. You can't go for a small reopen here if you really want against pool. I think against small blind and when playing as polar bear, we're not going to do it, but it's not ridiculous by any means. Definitely a pure check in GTO. I'm going to check against small blind as well. I don't think this is a value bet. You do play the later streets a lot more when you're polar bear. You can play a lot more like delayed c-bet, double delayed c-bet, facing river probe, facing turn probe, facing stab, delayed stab, like all of this sort of stuff. Do you normally play 100 NL for non-educational sessions? No, I don't play any non-educational sessions. I haven't played a non-educational session in years. I'm always streaming if I ever play poker. Which is why my volume is so low. Or I'm recording footage for YouTube. But, that said, we are reaching a pivotal point at Carrot Corner right now where we've kind of built, aside from finishing Modern Master Plan at some point, we've kind of built everything we want to build for now. Like, we're setting up the funnel, we're setting up this bronze carrot idea that like there'll be a bit of like lead magnet content on site. We're getting all that together. The business model is like kind of taking its its final form, I think. So that does free up a lot more time. And I was thinking about like playing bigger samples, doing the challenge, playing like different sessions as different styles, comparing the results of styles, that kind of thing. You can go for 4-bet here with 10s. It's actually not a bad SPR to 4-bet axe. It's a bit of an awkward one for villain to shove. So that could be better. I should play lead here on this board, like small lead. I am just going to lead 10s here. I think this is a fine way to play. When they call quickly, there's a couple of options. They can just have an overpair, obviously, or they can be playing a lot of ace king, ace queen, not knowing what they're doing, calling like have ace 5 here. They can have 2 overs, backdoor, that kind of thing. I'm going to block again on the turn with 10s. Yes, I'm playing polar bear strategy, but this is just a part of the game tree where I have a very mergy range. So villain can have 8s or 5s here, or ace 5, or something like king, queen, king, jack of spades. I think the river is definitely a check. They have a 9, we block 10-9 heavily, which is a bit of a shame. It's a b10 or a check, but I think a check. I think it's a bit thin for b10 on the ace. A b10, some cards, 8s. No, queens. That's a spot where even if I'm playing as polar bear, I still want to play like the menace style small lead strategy. It's just such a good spot for leading. These out of position 3-bet pots are great for leading. That's probably the only spot today, like low board out of position 3-bet pot, where you'll see me play donk bet. I'm probably not going to play donk bet, apart from maybe like under the gun big blind on 6-5-4 or something like that. Easy call with 8s here with the recreational player in the big blind. Want to be in it to win it against them. And it's obviously just a meh 3-bet anyway. It's a fine 3-bet, but it's nothing special. Playing B200 check on this board, checking ace king on flop and turn here, going to river. And 27 VPIP, half potting here, going to call by default, always against this line until I know more. Going to be overbluffed. Don't care what my hand is if I beat bluffs, I call. That's what you want to do. So if you're playing polar bear, you need to know it's not as weaselly, like you're not facing aggression as often as when you're playing weasel maybe, but you are still facing a lot of aggression and you need to know where your thresholds are, what you're calling, what you're folding, what spots are overbluff, what spots are underbluff. So going back to my tweet or my X post, I don't know what you even call it now that it's no longer Twitter. Like, what do you call it, Elon? Let me know in the comments, Elon. If you're not too busy designing the next Mars infiltration. I think the best way to explain it is that on a board like that, blockers are not going to matter really at all. Because like every hand that blocks my air is going to block my random kickers of pairs and stuff like that. It's going to be a very limited effect. In general, there's a zone called the dangler zone where you have like a card that sort of dangles around near where the board is but doesn't hit the board, and that card, when it's a high or medium board, is generally going to block more air in the opponent's range than other cards, but the effect is going to be very small in most of these situations. I'm going to play overbet on this board, but not 2x pot, and that's just because the level of polarization that's going on between ranges is a bit different. Villains snap calls, they're going to have some like king 9, jack 10, king queen, etc. This is definitely a bit underfolded now. So many of the hands that call flop here are going to call turn. My draw's a bit unnutted. I'm going to check this hand. And I think river is just underfolded, sadly, on this line. While villain might fold jack 9, I actually block a lot of folds with the 9 of diamonds. I'm blocking like queen 9, jack 9 off, that sort of thing. So generally speaking, when you play like a weaker pool and you're playing that polar bear strategy and you go for a big bet on the flop and you get called by a player that you don't really know and you get called really quickly like that, they're going to have 2 pair plus a lot on the flop or pair plus draw, and they're going to call turn. So your options are kind of like triple off or just check turn. And when you've got that awkward amount of equity where you really don't want to get raised, you just want to check turn, honestly. So even though like my hand is definitely like a high frequency follow up with another pot size bet and in like balance theory realm, that's what we would be doing if we're playing this strategy. We're playing this strategy with an exploitative tweak today, guys. We're trying to play it well against the pool, and bluffing turn against that pool, it's going to underperform after they call flop. Flop overperforms generally, and then turn underperforms. Going to build around a jack here. And my hand is interesting, actually. I'm going to call this one, actually. I don't think this is quite the right hand to raise. It's close, though, and it's reasonable. It's blocking a lot of folds, so and I think it slightly performs better as a call. Against this VPip from cutoff, I expect a lot of aggression on this turn because a load of my range is ace high, under pair, etc. And I'm obviously not going to be folding a 6. Sizing's a bit weird. The sizing's like a little bit like I have 9s. Like, hello, I have 9s. My hand is 9s. But that's okay. We're obviously just not raising, not folding. Queen River, they're now going to need to have a queen or better to value bet big. I don't expect them, even though they probably could bet 10s again here, like kind of big. Maybe. It's a bit thin. I don't expect people to do it. So Villain's now saying they have a jack. Is that sizing even a queen? I don't think so. I have a 6 that blocks boats. And a lot of my range is just under pair. I'm going to call this hand, guys. I think this is an overbluff node from this player with high VPip. Does have a jack this time. But I think the 27 VPip there, going for that sizing scheme, is probably a bit overbluffed. They have a really good catcher as well. Block ace, jack, and 6s. So I'm okay with that. If that was a tighter looking reg, we're obviously not going to be calling that spot. We're just folding. Very important that we call with Forest here and we're in it to win it. Struggling to win today as the Polar Bear, guys. May not be able to do it. We'll try. Hang in there. Keep playing array games. See what we can do. 11 big blinds, 3-bet here. Folding flop. Yeah, ace-6 is a very premium catcher. Like, it's much, much better than 9s or 8s or anything like that. So if you're going to call anything other than a jack on the river, which I think you should against that sizing scheme in that player, you want to call ace-6. I think ace-6 is likely winning. That turn size just doesn't feel very jack heavy either, like it was that time, but in general, it doesn't feel super jack heavy. This is close with 10s. I think my hand is just a bit too good of a 3-bet not to 3-bet. Obviously, I'm tempted to call with a 58 VPip here. And I'm playing half pot check here. No, I'm not. I'm playing B75 check as Polar Bear in this spot, actually. So I'm going to check my hand. Might not be horrible as a B75, but I don't think it's great. It's better against button where Jacks is going to check back a lot. So we do a lot of checking. You're seeing, like, it might look like passivity, but remember, guys, we just have the middle of range a lot today. We've not had the extremes of range that much. That's just been our distribution. I'm going to fold this while I'm involved in this other hand. So Villain starts betting now. Big. They're kind of saying I have king queen that I check the flop with. Or I have a jack. I have jacks. Or I have a slow play from the flop. When they snap pot, this is either like a very sophisticated RNG strategy, or it's just someone with like king jack that's just making up for lost ground. I'm going to fold 2 10s anyway. It's like maximum negative blocker hand. And if that's someone that's just potting, like that's deciding to pot that way with every bluff because it's overfolded, good for them. I don't think it's enough of those players taking that sophisticated and aggression strategy. Like, that's a really good warrior strategy to pot there against my range, because my range is like so capped. It probably performs really well. I just don't think that many people do it. Overbet seems gross for that flop, but the thing is that we have a big monopoly on the top sets, which are massively high equity, and ace king. So I think overbet's okay for that flop texture because it's queen jack 10. In general, though, it's not going to be great for these for wet boards like that where people are uncapped. I think it's an okay. Queen jack 10 specifically is the triple Broadway board that you want to do that on. So here we have kind of maximum blocking folding range hand and very unnutty draw. So delaying this one's going to be fine. I will build a very big flop bet strategy there, though. And betting really big exploitatively is also okay. I'm going to fold my hand. It's trash. My hand is just trash here. Raise big on the turn is probably a good line there exploitatively, by the way, for what it's worth. Just maybe not with 7-6 in theory, but honestly in practice you could convince me it's okay to raise that hand. You have some bailout equity for the straight. The hand is just maximally like bad in terms of blocker effects and equity, but probably an overfolded spot. Ace king. I can go either way with this. 2x pot this time. Yeah, it could be overcalled. What is the session? The stray dog strat? No, it's just called running kind of bad. It's Polar Bear strat, but, you know, if you see someone losing over like 140 hands, don't draw too many conclusions. If that's what you mean. I don't know if that's what you mean. We're just kind of running bad today, guys. We're just kind of like trying to make the most out of lots of bad spots and lose the least. There's kind of two layers to a strategy like this. There's the, I'll try and explain the theory behind like the flop big bet strategies, and then I'll tell you how I'm adjusting it as we go further into the game tree. So recreational player here in the big blind, definitely opening this hand. It's not just because I have more set Zenith, it's also just Ace King is 16 combinations of the immortal nuts that I have and Villain never has. That's a pretty big thing. The bigger the nut advantage, the better for these kind of spots. I'd be opening the 9 deuce there on the button, by the way. 7.5 in this position with 10s, I am pretty indifferent. I'm going to fold here to showcase that this is an okay thing to do. A lot of people don't know that. And the reason that, and I'm not playing a strat, if I'm playing Warrior, I'm obviously going to call, right, I'm going to play the flop, but it's just indifferent against 7.5. And people get too bogged down on their absolute hand strength. They see 2 10s, they see a 3-bet, and it's like, yes, you normally don't fold 2 10s to a 3-bet, but hijack versus under the gun when they go kind of big, it's fine. Especially if you think it's like a tight player that's not 3-betting that much, it's totally fine. It's also fine to call, but the thing is, if you're not that versed in playing poker, that spot is going to go badly for you, human versus human. It's very difficult to get it right. So if you're just starting out, it's okay to be a bit weaselly in situations like under the gun cutoff and just pure fold the mixes, because I guarantee you're going to take the worst of it, even against players worse than you. You're going to take the worst of it in that exact spot because they're going to bet flop a lot. You know, they just have an easy time playing their range. You have a really hard time playing yours. It's a nightmare. In theory, B75 range should be good on Queen Jack 10. Yep. Or you can polarize a bet and go bigger. Either strat's viable. Going to play half pot check here on flop. I'm going to claim to have a jack here. My 2 boat outs. This is a reasonable bluff. I'm going to tell him I have a jack. That's obviously me being a bit silly, right? That's not the reason behind the bet. The reason behind the bet is that my range is super strong. I have a ton of jack X. And I can value bet a lot of hands there that are a jack, mainly. Maybe some other stuff like queens and aces too. Aces is not a bet actually, because it blocks the hell out of ace X. Aces is a pure check, but you know, hands have that strength in general. So if the board's wetter, you can start to B200 your under pairs. I actually would play this as a B50 check though. So you're seeing a lot of checking today, guys, because I'm being dealt the middle of range. That's the distribution I'm being dealt. So when that happens to you, it's really important to understand that, like, because you're checking a lot right now doesn't mean you're always checking a lot. Like, think about where you are, where you've been in your range distributions. Too high up to bluff here with 5s on this run out. Just too much pot share. When you're playing Polar Bear, more hands check down than when you're playing Menace strategy and betting flop all the time, obviously, or playing Warrior, which also starts with a small flop C-bet a lot. You guys let me know, you've seen these 4 styles being showcased throughout, playing very big bet check. You might play over, I'm going to play over bet in the style of the Polar Bear on this board, actually, as my default sizing. So checking King 7. You want to be conscious as well. Like, this is a very overfolded spot from my point of view. Like, when population checks back in my shoes here, they overfold. So obviously at 4-1, you're going to call king 7. But just be aware of that naturally. This is close. I have a pretty good bluff catcher, actually. I unblock pretty much all bluffs, and I if you think about my range for getting to that spot, I have a bit of ace-x, a little bit of trips, then I have pair off the board and pair on the board, and what you typically want to do is like call against that sizing is call most of the pair on the board, but my hand's probably indifferent, and then call obviously any ace and any trips, and then all your draws and pair off the board are going to be folding. I think that's about where it is against that size. So it's like a recreational player, so I'm just going to ISO. And playing polar bear style on flop, this is going to be a check. And then a non-fold in most cases. I'm going to turn my hand into a bluff here. There's a couple of reasons for this. One is that I can start to fold out some 9x, some 8s, some stuff like that. Secondly, I can get called by hands I'm actually winning against, like flush draws, ace high flush draws, etc. This is very weird. I'd imagine it's just very strong, to be honest. Your bluff 8s here. How live is even my redraw? I think it's like kind of dead redraw sometimes. I don't really expect this to be a bluff ever. Okay, what spade does villain have here? Ace queen off with the queen of spades. Tens with the 10 of spades. It's got to just be a check on river, right? I don't think I can value bet here. I think it's way too thin against pool. I also think they're going to overfold anything that's not a spade here. Snap check back. Ace queen on turn, by the way. This hand is like not clearly a call. I think it's a bluff catcher, and I don't know how bluff that spot is. I just don't think that's clear from our opponent there. That 7-6 is maybe like a slight overreach, like I'm turning quite a bit of showdown into a bluff there. I think there's some good things that can happen in both directions, like better hands can fold, worse hands can call. Obviously our hand's quite vulnerable as well. I don't know, it might be a bit far. It's a recreational player, so definitely 3-betting ace queen always here, not mixing any call. Play very big bet and check here. Awkward spot, but the problem with calling flop is here that you're going to face quite a bit of turn aggression from that player type in general. And so it's good line to just trap. King X clubs here, easy call on flop. And easy bluff on river. Overbet's fine. B75 is okay. I'm gonna overbet. Four three. I was gonna say with this player in the big blind, you probably want to take min open there. It depends on these other players ahead of you. Well, yeah, I mean, in that Jack 10 hand, Dizzy Kusek on Twitch, it would be really quite bad for the opponent to raise two pair on that flop. Like, it would be like the mother of all polarization errors, essentially, right? It'd be really, really, really bad. So most people are like good enough to not do that. Like a 100 NL reg is good enough to not do that. Like at 5 NL, sure, like a reg's gonna not understand poker and raise two pair there, but it's not really gonna happen at low to mid stakes so much. Fish, of course, can. But even a fish can be like savvy enough to know that two pair is not a good hand in that spot. With the ace of hearts in my hand here, I'm always gonna play bet in this spot. Playing over bet check. you do need to consider folding hard against that line. You should fold a lot of 2-pair by river against that line, but I don't think it's the right player type to do it against. It looked like a recreational, didn't it? Or it could have been a recreational. So against like a tight reg, triple is okay there. Against a more recreational player that snaps the flop, I think it's like, it's a bit more iffy. B10, the A8 flush, not a bad idea. Yep, not bad at all, actually. Not a bad line. The greedy B10, I like it. We check calling this one on the flop on 9 deuce. The showdown value of King Jack is just very, very high. And you dominate a lot of villains' range on turn. Leading turn here would be egregious. You just have a medium strength hand. Disastrously played ace queen by a villain. Yeah, the snap check back river is just like, it's just what people do in that spot. They're never going to consider turning that part of their range into a bluff, low as it is. Like, I'm probably just folding river if bets river, honestly, like, because people are just going to miss that. They're going to have to bluff with so many showdown value hands to do a good job. So it's one of those spots where if villain has to turn loads of showdown value into a bluff, you just want to be giving up. I double barreled, yeah. How can you not double barrel the 8s, right? You playing some 3x on button for now. It's going to be today's flagship line. I learned what flagship meant because my strategist said, let's call our offer the flagship offer on the golden carrot. And I was like, I don't know what that means. What even is that? Apparently it means you get a database review from a database review expert and get a couple of £100 off. Apparently that's what it means. Did you guys know what flagship was? I got 3x's hand on the button because I think people are just generally going to stay away from 3x. Like, I don't think they're going to mess with it as much in general. So any break-even hand's probably just winning. Your 4-bet ace king this time. Call's also okay, of course. I'd fold to shove there, by the way, in those positions, probably. It's break even. I don't think people slow play aces enough in general. Like, if you start putting all the aces in the jam line, it just gets like an absolute disaster for ace king. It's 3-bet this guy to 12 bigs. Fold out some dominating hands. King jack off, king queen off, get called by hands we're flipping against. Deny equity. What's not to like? Fold deuces on this board. The triple overcard situation is very bad against early position, especially against a player that looks like the kind of reg that maybe aggro on turn. Battling, guys. Battling to hang in there, play well today. Not getting many breaks today. That's okay. That happens. How you play in sessions like this is defining of your success in poker. It's absolutely key. I'm going to go bigger with the 3-bets today. Even with the in-position 3-bet, I'm going to go a bit bigger. We'll get our stacks up and then we'll be in A-game mode. We always play better with the big stack, right? Even though it's purely meaningless and psychological. Do you guys find that in cash? You play better when you're just have a bigger stack. Even if you've been losing and then you like get back to even by getting your stack up, I still feel like there's something psychological in that for a lot of players. So what style do you think you are? If you've watched these streams, I'd be intrigued to hear what you think is your natural style. Are you the weasel, the polar bear, the menace, or the warrior? Yeah, I'll implement that in 2028, so that seems fair. Yep. Main opening cutoff. Won't be folding to 3-bet this time, guys. I'm going to 4-bet this guy if he 3-bets. I'll 4-bet him. It's taking a little bit longer than most people take with the really good hands. Doesn't mean much, but I can go either way, and that's enough of a deal breaker for me to 4-bet. So if I get jammed on less often, this just gets better and better, because against the part of their range that we're beating, this 4-bet does really well. It denies a lot of equity, and the money tends to flow towards cutoff in this spot a bit more than it should in theory. I'm going to start playing half pot check on these boards. I think flop here is generally understepped. Not always, but generally understepped. People are not used to facing check in 4-bet pot here, so this will be interesting. People used to facing like the small range bet, which is a great way to go as well. Nothing to do but call here. Opponent's range is going to be some random stuff. No idea who this player is. When you're playing a pot against a player like this, it's not a bad idea to just scour the lobby and take a look at how many tables you're playing. So this king is great for our range. We have a lot of ace king on this node, king jack. Some kings, although we're likely to bet or check raise flop with that. This player S. Johan, how many tables are they playing? 1 table, so it's a recreational. It's really good to know. Makes me more inclined to show down on river and less likely to bluff. I'm going to fold here. This could just be like ace queen, like just flailing about a bit sometimes, and it could be too many combos of ace queen as well, but the realizability of this hand is terrible. Clear check on flop with 10-9 when we're playing over bet check. Such a great card for a range as well, and they're just like, I don't care, I just bet anyway. So overall there, you can't call a bad catcher like tens. Interesting spot when they lead turn. I'm going to go for a call. Very strange. There's going to be some random merges we beat in here. I'm not folding for half pot. Obviously, we lose a lot, but there's going to be some bluffs and some merges we beat from a random player. Be recreational sometimes. It's 3-bet king jack. I know a flagship in naval terms. Yeah, I think that's like the idea. It's like your 7-6 hand is a nice barrel. Most people won't find this. It's a good merge. Yeah, I think it's a reasonable play. I don't know about against the fish, though. It might just be better to check, honestly. I'm going to just play 4-3 against the recreational with a 36 VPIP by calling here. Not a line you want to bluff a 36 VPIP in. You're the clown? Yeah, I think that makes sense. It's actually the menace. Call him by his proper name, please. He gets offended by clown. Doesn't like to be called the clown. Even though he does look a bit like a clown, he's primarily a menace. They are different. I fold 4-3 there. I think the line of like, maybe I should call, but like the hand has terrible redraw and it's a bit fishy, honestly, when they check flop. The 36 VPIP there. I think I should fold actually. I think a full turn's good. This spot's awkward. This player's gonna play a lot. What's their 3-bet? 0%. I'm gonna open in that case because I don't mind them cold calling me. Mostly weasel with some warrior. Yeah, we've all got a bit warrior in our weasel. Weasel's underrated, man. Staying out of the shitty spots that, like, let's face it, you just bleed money in all the time. Like, if you're stubborn and you're like, I never fold ace queen to or tens to a 3-bet in early position, you just play these spots. I bet you just bleed so much money with those hands. I actually think the EV of those hands in most Rex databases is like way less than it should be. And it's hard to see it, right? Because it takes so long to converge. That's close to a king queen. You can go either way. Guy looks recreational. I mean, it's against the recreational, like it's double-edged because they're more likely to randomly jam something, and they're also more likely to just call ace queen off. But at the same time, like they play badly post flop. But I don't think that's a great spot. Squeeze ace king always with this player in the pot, trying to get heads up with them. They've been pretty spewy so far, actually. It looks like. We're a bit bigger here. Get called by the player we didn't really want to get called by. Very good board for range, though. I'm going to play third pot in this spot. This is just such a good range bet spot that I'm going to go for third pot. I'd not bet everything, but bet a lot of things. I think check fold turn's a reasonable play here. Call king queen, play giant flop res this time. And I'll build around decent 10x plus here. The spot sucks already, like very much sucks. Very much sucks. I don't even know if I should even call because my hand is like so dead. Like, how is he bluffing here? Is he reopening a flush draw? I don't think so. Easiest fold I've ever seen in my life. I could actually almost full turn. I maybe should. I'm just a bit worried about like king, jack, ace, king sort of chops, but honestly, I have no idea what's going on here, but I don't really care. Bluff turn doesn't work this time. And king, queen with spades are a reasonable turn bluff at some frequency. On the ace, it's a bit awkward. Like, we blocked some of the folds because they're presumably folding quite a bit of ace, king, ace, queen on that flop. So we're actually blocking like some of the kings and queens. Polar Bear looks not cool compared with Warrior. You do a lot more checking. You know, you're playing a lot more hands passively by checking initially. I play overbet here. This is a lower c-bet frequency board in general, but these kind of hands are just fine. There's a hand you're checking there that you're not overbetting. It's like 10-8 of clubs, by the way. Weasel is so strong against most of these online pools. Yeah, Weasel's good at these states for sure, especially in this game where like there's just a lot of weak players that you wanna weasel against, and then there's kind of like there aren't that many just like normal regs. You know, the regs are either kind of aggro MDA based, a lot of them, or they're just nitty. I don't see that many of them that I think like, okay, you're actually balanced. Yeah, I wonder about just folding ace king on the turn in that spot. Like, I know it seems like really obscene, but actually their range is super strong there, and they're going to be like general 100 NL players not going to want to reopen that spot much. I wonder about just folding the turn, honestly. I am going to complete here because the recreational player is just going to play badly enough that I need to be in this spot. I need to see what happens. Do I remember Dennis the Menace from the Beano? Absolutely. I couldn't get a good Dennis the Menace mask, though, on Amazon. Just couldn't find one. Good spot to donk as a bluff against someone that can actually hand read, but against this player, like, we're not going to do it. I want to go huge on river here. The range is like kind of uncapped. I think just a normal sizing is fine. Something like this. Yeah, they're not going to fold the straight. The river really does uncap them, so... I mean, the thing is, like, against ace... Like, their ace-x probably going to underfold against all sizes there. Maybe even smaller is good, like block. Maybe block's better. Just ignore the ace-x plus part of their range. With my sizing, I might get king to fold, though, but then again, I may well just not. Could be a spot where block performs a bit better. Yeah, I quite like blocking that spot against the recreational. It's not that you need to give up loads of spots as the Weasel. You're just starting the game tree. Like these styles, guys, they're more about how you start the game tree. So the Weasel starts the game tree by like avoiding the iffy situations. Pre like this one, right? With sixes, you're just indifferent. You don't have to call. You can call, right? Like if you're playing Weasel, you just avoid that every time. We're just gonna mix that spot. And you're starting the game tree. There's another polar bear. Or is that a dog? See, it's hard to tell. You're starting the game tree in a certain way. So when you're playing the Weasel, you're going to like raise the flop less, call the flop a bit more, small ball a bit more, check the flop more. You know, use smaller sizes in general than polar bear. But like if a spot's good to bluff, like if you think it's like a high fold equity spot, you should still take it as either player type. Weasel's not about not bluffing. It's not about playing like a net. You're not giving up loads of spots. You're just checking a protected range and going to the later streets more. You're playing more of a small ball style. You're not giving up necessarily. You're passing up on spots early in the game tree that you don't think are that good. And check this time with King 10. I can go either way on turn. I do want to bet a lot here. This is a weird spot now. I don't see any point in raising the spot at all. He's just going to have a 10 or he's going to be bluffing. But usually it's just going to be a 10. I don't think a 5. If it's a fish, you have to raise anyway, right? But I don't think a 5 is going to pay off there. And it's a reg, ever. And I don't think it's going to overbet in the first place. So it's just a spot where they either have quads 10-7, a chop, or bluff. So you don't raise. You do not raise. Against the fish, against the smaller bet, you raise. Against an overbet, you do not raise. You also pay more rake when you just raise, like throw a stack in and get called by a chop. Like, what's the point? This dog was called Nasher, not to be confused with Muttley. That was the dog from a different show. Keep getting this ace-3. These ace-3, ace-deuces are just 3 bets for me. These are like the pure ones. Blind versus blind. Just running into the either the regs that are over bluffing or the nuts today. Pre-flop. I think we've been shoved on our 4-bet every single time we've aggressed. Just the way it goes. It's the way these sessions go. You got to hang in there, got to play your A game anyway, enjoy it. Focus on the technical. Right. Half pot here. I am going to favor with this draw against this player type. Call. Looks like it could be recreational. Snap turn check. They're going to under raise if I bet small. They're going to overfold if I bet giant. They have some uncapped stuff here. I think this is probably B75. I think they're going to have some 9s, some 10x, some overpair that like snap checks the 8 turn, but not loads. Block is also interesting. I think blocker B75 are good there. For betting our equity, of course, we can bet bigger, but the way ranges are constructed in that spot, I like that. I think 8-7 here with this guy being bad. You just want to be 31 VPIP. You want to be completing. Playing the liver cards. Try refreshing your stream if the audio is desynced. Shouldn't be on my end. How successful do you think a net strategy is? I mean, at low stakes, you can win with a net strategy. At these stakes, it's not so good. You're just passing up in so many situations. But let me be clear. Being really nitty pre, like an early position, and just avoiding like these spots is good. But like folding that ace-5 on the button would be a disaster, right? Because it's so winning in practice to open. Like, these are not licensed to just do whatever you want, guys. You still have to estimate EV. I'm not saying you can just do whatever you want to do. You can be whoever you want to be. It's just how you start the game tree and the spots that don't matter much. That's what the styles are. Once more into the breach, guys. Got one through. Playing giant flop raise there, building around 2 pair plus. Same here. Go a bit bigger here, actually. 2. Probably 2 is better. No, I don't think 5's overbet the river. Min raise is like, it's a thing, but like the thing is, you need to think that your opponent is actually overbetting the river with a 5 in a spot where you can have a bunch of 10, and like for the most part, they're not. They could be, but for the most part, they're not. But I agree, if you're going to raise river, min raise is the play. What do you do against the regs that are over bluffing? You check them with good hands and you call. Or you check them with okay hands and then you call, and you just call. That's it. You avoid situations where you're going to call flop and then fold later. You either call down or you fold earlier. You keep going with this 3x strategy. Great spot for it. 2 recreationals in the blinds. You have a hand that can do stuff. Making the pot bigger is going to be fine here. Oh, we love it when they give us this price, guys. Say a little prayer. 4 diamonds. I'll take the 4 diamonds. I prefer the 4 clubs, but I'll take the 4 diamonds. I'll take it. I'll take the 4 diamonds. If you fast play this spot, guys, you do not deserve to play the game. I can't think of a more mandatory slow play spot, because the thing is, when we start calling down here, at quite a high frequency, the 61 VPIP player is just going to have like Queen 9 off. And that's why raising at any point is just such a disaster. With aces, it wouldn't have mattered, probably. Like, we get the same amount of money anyway. But you've got to remember that their range contains random stuff, and when you first start playing No Limit Hold'em, you might underestimate just how often a high VPIP player can completely brick a board. And you have to cater to that there, because what you do against a king or aces does not matter. So you play against the part of range that is sensitive to your line. In giant bets here, playing big 3-bet size here. And playing pot check here. Ace queen is very middle. I think I can value bet ace king, or b75 check here maybe at this SPR. I'm going to make it a bit bigger pre. Ace queen is a pure check. Villain has some 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, 8s, 4, 5, other stuff. I mean, there's not anything to say here. This hand is just very clearly a check. I take a second though. Jack 10 suited, Jack 9 suited, Queen Jack suited, King Jack suited. Is King High really going to bluff this spot? Generally not in my experience with this player type, maybe. River's going to be close here if we face a bet. See, this is the kind of play that when it's the right player type, and by that I mean like the aggro reg, this is so overbluffed. It's just that there's so many nits in this pool, but how likely are they to take that line? I don't know. I always like want to talk myself into hero calls against that line specifically, because it's either a reg that's playing exploitatively and trying to exploit pool, like trying to beat pool, or it's someone who's bluffing. Sorry, and then it's the case that they're bluffing, or it's someone who just always has 7s. And that's why it's so annoying when you don't know. But if you do know that it's that player type is bluffing there, and is trying to take a line they think is going to work all the time, then you just have such a... You could be winning 100% of the time. That's the thing with MDA strategies that take that line. I should have scoured lobby and requested time there. It was really bad to not do that, because it's such a impactful spot for my EV to actually just scour lobby, try and figure out if it could be that player, and then just call any bluff catcher if it is. Because it's either a bluff, it's either Jack 10, or it's like 7s. Honestly, I'd be really surprised if anyone took that line with like 10s. And they're repping almost no value, which makes it actually quite likely that it is just that player. I don't know. I'm kind of talking myself into just thinking I should have called there now. So this looks like an aggro reg, this red tag, right? I'm going to avoid King 10, actually. It's super break even. I want to focus on the left-hand table. I'm kind of deep here. I'm going to be playing big polar reopen strategies on all of these spots, so pretty easy check against this checking range. What do you consider a reg? I mean, generally, like, they're just not a big high VPIP for the most part. Same guy on both tables here. Good to note that. Means you can pull a few more things sometimes. If you think they're distracted with one table, you can do something on the other. So we have a lot of ace, queen, ace, king in his range here. It's going to be very hard not to overbluff like chaotically on this turn. Obviously, our hands are pure call, and this is an aggro type player. Value-wise, nines, king, queen. There's a lot of value in their range too. We're not going to be folding this combo specifically. Bet flop pure call turn here. Pretty good card for a range on turn, like much better for us than for villain. Not surprised to see the give up here. It could just be like kings or something. Bluffing river is an interesting option. I think we're a bit too far up. But yeah, bluffing river is interesting here, guys. Okay, that makes some sense. We don't have a lot of Jack X. He thinks we're going to value bet at 10 anyway. He thinks we're going to bluff sometimes. That's why he's checking river there with the nines. It makes sense. It's not a bad way to play the hand at all. Probably a good way to play the hand, actually. I think that's probably a good reg in that river check. Most regs don't find that with nines. They just greedily jam. Which is why that spot's so underbluff generally. They're just not finding the slow plays on river. If he'd actually bet river there, I you know, 10 is a card he should just be checking a lot on. He's identified that there. And it's such a good fold equity spot that, like, I'm clearly not going to bluff with the jack, right? It's just absurd. But, like, I'm going to be very happy to bluff that spot with lots of my range. So it makes sense. Easter Sale is live for one more day, guys. I don't want you to miss out. We're doing a hard close tonight, right? So just make sure if you are going to pick up silver or golden carrot, take advantage of that discount or that free database review that comes with the golden carrot. You want to do it soon. Not playing donk today in late position spots, I decided, so just checking here, but donk is fine. With a lot of hands. Blood from a stone spot, unfortunately. Continue with 3x in the button here. This guy just bluff catch a random hand here. We have a lot of air, so you can just call like a 4, 5, a 7. It doesn't really matter. Just any catcher, right? It's going to call here. We'll take a quick break, guys. Make a coffee, go to the bathroom. And we'll be back for more punishment, or maybe start getting something going. Who knows? There's the discount fee, by the way. Silver carrot. You want to get started in your poker education? That's what we're offering. One more day. You can't really see. There you go. That's our biggest discount this Easter is on the Silver Carrot Pass. 80 quid off, then it's back to full price. Hard close tonight. Leave that on your screen. I'll go make a coffee, remembering to take off the polar bear mask because the builder is in the house, and you know we don't really need that interaction. We don't really need like me walking through to the kitchen with this on my head, and then like that awkward conversation and trying to explain like English isn't his first language, trying to explain the concept of a stream, the concept of poker education, the concept of a discounted silver pass, the concept of a polar bear strategy. I think it's too many concepts to explain to the builder on a Monday morning, so we'll take off. All right, I'll be back. Hey guys, let's get back into this morning. Probably going to be streaming up until about lunchtime today. Go back over here to our two-table view. Deal me and dealer. So we have a net on the button and a big fish me in the big blind, so it'd be rude not to play the 6-4 of clubs here. It would be rude not to be in it to win it. In it to win it's a really cool phrase because it captures the fact that your EV is way higher than it should be against that player type. So here, actually, I've got another recreational in the blind. I'm actually going to open like 2.6 and cut off here. Just tailoring my sizing a little bit and just delaying my bluff in this table with the 43 VPIP here, just generally delaying when I've got this kind of player and absolutely no equity, betting more of the hands that can turn into something. Go half pot check here. Both are fine. And we will bluff river, of course, if checked to, just thinking about sizing here. Does this guy have small blind caller? Quite a strong range, actually. Too many good hands. Too many good hands. Sometimes like an aggro play like crosses my mind for like half a second before I dismiss it. I'm just like, no, not in that spot. Oh, I forgot my mask. Polar bear mask. I won't be doing the mask forever, by the way, guys. But I will be doing the styles for some time when I'm streaming because it keeps it fresh for me. As a streamer, it keeps it fresh for me. 10-6 off? Why not? Very high EV spot. Jack 5 of diamonds. Again, this is a fold if you're against two good players and a properly constructed cold call range and proper aggression after the flop, but it's a call against these recreationals. Double gutter. When I've got equity that can improve like this, like leading big is always going to be a thing. Always going to be fine. I always want to bet this spot. They have quite emerging range. I have some sets, some 2 pairs, some 1 pair. All sorts of stuff, really. Probably go for like B75 here. Three X on button. Folding to raise there, of course. What does Captain P think? I just don't care about this conversation. Like, I don't care, like the tighter the VPIP, the tighter the player, right? I don't really see why we need to say under 20. Like, tighter regs, like, maybe their VPIP converges to 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. It doesn't really matter. Like, you should be looking at their overall style, and if they're, like, a net reg, I don't care what the VPIP is. Like, cause, like, okay, in general, if it's, like, 26 or something, 25, they're not going to be a tight reg, but I don't care whether it's under 20 specifically. If you've got a good sample, then, you know, 20, 21, 19, 18, these are all, like, fairly common VPIPs for tight reg, but I don't know, I just don't really care about giving an exact number. I just don't care, okay? Just don't care, guys. Three big blinds on the button, please. Dealer overbet on the right-hand side. Let's win a few pots. Your brain always wants to track how you're doing in one session, right? And it's so silly because, like, okay, we're down a couple of buy-ins today, probably. We've been just, like, not doing much and getting bled away a bit. Losing medium-sized pots, that kind of thing. If you're playing yesterday, let's say you played poker yesterday. And it didn't go that well, but then you've slept, you've lost 3 buy-ins. You probably don't really think about it, right? But if it's like the next morning and you start your session down a few buy-ins, you're probably like, oh no, I have to get that back. It's so stupid how the brain keeps track of what's been lost recently. And the reason for that is that there's more chance in, okay, I'm going to put on my amateur evolutionary psychologist hat here and say that there's more chance of you getting back the things that you've lost more recently. and that's why your brain pursues them more. Whereas if you lost something a year ago that's expired, that means now you're not going to get it back. The polar bear that took its died, like whatever, who cares? You're not getting it back. So that's quite a polarizing prepared board there, if you're wondering, guys. Where's my mask? The King of Clubs River. A lot of nines, some 10x, stuff like this. It's also a limper though, so you can just have like some immortal slow plays. I think this is a pretty clear check actually. I think going for third barrel here is like not great. It's a lot of like missed flush draw. That is like one of the only hands I can see calling another sizable bet. That's the wrong mask. That's the weasel. Get out of here, weasel. The hell's the polar bear mask? I think against the netty player, it's a bit thin to go for value. In the club river, maybe you can. I think it's too thin. Against the net, against the fish, I'm definitely value betting river there. Definitely. But after turn sizing being B75, yeah. Like, they can definitely have a slow play on that node. They have a lot of misdraws on that node as well. Let's isolate this player. Oh, I didn't notice this actually. Probably better to call in that case. This is a little bit annoying because it's going to jam sometimes, and also we don't mind them being in the pot if we cold call. Maybe cold call's better. I still don't mind this. Okay, we've got the right mask on. Get out of here, weasel. How to beat this pool? Got to play very well because the rake's pretty high. Got to play very well. Got to fold a lot when people are under bluffing. You've got to bluff a lot when people are over folding. You've got to have a coherent strategy, understand theory, know what you're doing, have a poker education, know how to exploit a population based on data from a bedrock of a theory education, that sort of thing, guys. You know my ethos. You know my approach to the game by now. I don't have to spell it out for you. Theory first, exploits a close second. That's it. I almost went for bet turn bet river there as a line. As a bluff. Slash get called by ace queen with ace of clubs. But then, yeah, it's kind of like it's a bluff primarily. Almost went for it. Not sure. It's very difficult to work out whether it's good because you also have to compare it to check, which is obviously like okay. 2.6 bibis. Let's throw in a cold call. Why not? Play the odd cold call. I actually think this is quite a low fold equity line. Like I'm mainly just raising to take advantage of the times he's like range betting flop. But trash, I think when he bet calls flop there, it's gonna be. I mean, I can bet again for like 2/3 pot, mostly building around that. What do you have? Go a bit bigger here, actually. My line looks so bizarre. I've absolutely no idea what's going on in this spot. This just looks so weird. Eights, kings, nut flush. Block a hell of a lot of nut flushes here. You bet call flop with ace five of diamonds or something. I don't really think so. Okay, I'm really unsure what's happening here. Probably we lose, but this is just a bit too of an erratic line for me to fold to. It's just a little bit too weird. Yeah, probably we just lose there almost always, but then again, my line is like complete nonsense. So I don't know. If he jams, I also fold. I fold, by the way, so maybe he's done well there. Maybe I just fold anyway, but yeah, I should probably just fold anyway. Even though we're getting 1,000,000 to 1, like how often do we win? Never. Close to never. It's hard though psychologically when you've played the hand so weirdly and your value range is like almost nothing, but it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Can I do my geek voice about HUD stats and obsess over the differences?
Yes, well, actually, the tight rig has a 18 to 19 VPIP.
It's a pretty brutal session today. You can bet like turn in that hand, I guess, but I don't think it's a great spot. There's a lot of overpair now, and it's basically underfolding against turn. Against turn aggression. Right, let's call this small 3-bet. I want to drop in to ask, you know, if Danny or Niall is still playing poker. I know that Danny has actually not been playing a lot of poker. He checked in with me the other day. I actually need to get back to him. I don't know what Niall's doing. I've not talked to Niall in a while. Good to remember these guys, though, lest we forget. Makes it sound like they've died or something. They've not died, not to my knowledge. So polar bear strategy, you can actually bet threes here, but against the recreational, like going big with threes is a bit meh. It's okay. I think B75 works well in this spot. Should have raised river there, probably. There's just no time, man. There's just absolutely no time. I need to put the coffee down. I can't actually play with one hand. I can't do it, guys. I cannot play with one hand. I'm not locked in at all when I'm drinking the coffee. I'm just like sitting here chilling, and it's not okay because I have like 3 seconds on the clock. So let's go. Let's start playing. I haven't heard this being mentioned yet, but I think MaxTV is switching versus player type Weasel versus Agromaniac, most plus pacifist. Well, yeah, of course. Like you want to take, like again, I'm not saying you play your entire session a certain way. You don't evaluate the EV of a play. It's just your starting strategy, right? And then you need to go from there. You need to decide which spots are good to do which things in. One thing I'm not happy with myself this weekend is just making these stupid crying calls at like good pot odds, like just for the hell of it. Like, and it's actually the case that you can fold. You just don't feel like you can fold at the time. It's like such a psychological trap. You can actually just fold these spots. You just don't feel like you can. It's pretty dumb. And villain's blocking river because it just looks like I can't have any good hands, or I'm just polar and I've hit a flush, so it's a good play. There are some decent regs in this pool actually that play quite well. They definitely are. 6 of clubs. Didn't work this time. Play some small flop raise here, raise some ace queen combos like this as well. A check over pair in this spot. Show the 6 of hearts. Did I show the 6 of hearts? I meant to. B50 now. He didn't scare me with his table chat. I think like some underpair, if you're building a small raise strategy, you can use some underpair with diamond. Whatever, who cares? It's going to be an okay thing to do. Not a great thing to do. Versus MDA Reg, I quite like Warrior's good, yeah, but also like trappy, a bit more trappy than a conventional Warrior as well. Exactly, could have been reason to find out where he's at, yeah. Yeah, he just has to beat like almost always, like probably 95+% of the time, and it's just not a call. But I'm just playing stupidly in these spots recently. So if you can hear the builder making noise, guys, it's like cutting up some bits of wood and stuff today, so not ideal for the stream. How loud is that? Just let me know how loud that is. If it's really loud, I won't subject you to it. As then I'll just go and tell him to leave because I'm streaming. Just kidding, I wouldn't do that. How did I get to this spot? Someone told me I can check this. We called flop, turn goes check, check, yeah? Is that what happened? What happened? I'm so unfocused today, God. Oh. Right, I'll try and keep it together for another few minutes, guys. I'm feeling a bit, I'm gonna stream for another half hour or so and then have lunch, but I'll try and wake up a bit. I'm just definitely a bit low energy, unfocused here. Victor Franco's raiding with a party of 27. Welcome, Shoot and Raiders. How did your session go? Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you I can't stream this Friday morning. We might need to reschedule that, do it another time. Reason being, got to go with my wife to an appointment she's got. Gonna get in jacks here. Queens, huh? Fun game. Not this time, you deserve it now, man. Jack of Hearts. Deserve the Jack of Hearts now at this point. My coach, you're the best. No, you're the best, you. You're the best. I think the audience would agree. I'm not the best. Certainly not today. See, I just lost Jacks versus Queens. I can't be the best. Playing Polar Bear, though. Repping Polar Bear. No idea about Coin Poker. No idea about the rake. Haven't been following. Don't really care. I'm not going to play in a site where you can only get your money back out as crypto anyway. It's just not my cup of tea, to be honest. Like, if they change their approach and become like normal, operate in normal currencies and stuff, like actual money, then I would look into it and consider whether it be good content, like whether I should play there, whether it's like an option. But honestly, just not something I can be bothered with. Like, my stream content to be low maintenance to set up. I've already got like all of the... I've already got to think about playing Polar Bear here, right? So just checking. Turn, you can play small, reopen if you want. There's a lot of moving parts with Carrot Corner and making content and stuff like that, and I don't want to make it any more complex than it needs to be. I'm gonna absolutely call here. This makes no sense, but these players just have no idea how to play cards. Like, they just have absolutely no idea what they're doing. Against recreationals, that's certainly a recreational, that there's a lot of random shit that happens on River, like a lot of random shit. You leave a recreational player's range wide, you just see what happens. Why? I can't understand the thought process of betting ace-x. Like, if they want to make me fold a chop, if they're sure my range is like just ace-x, just go bigger. And if you're trying to value bet, I mean, that's too ambitious, but go one big blind. Like, that sizing is just, it makes absolutely, like, I can't even begin to comprehend what thought process leads to that sizing. I just don't know. Yeah, so we can maybe find another morning to do this stream. It just can't be this Friday. Sure. I'd forgotten about that when we agreed it last time. My apologies. B200. Polar Bear. This has been one of those sessions where we've not played particularly well, and we've also not run particularly well. But we could have played worse, given how we've run. Could have played worse. I would love to find my A game, like, reliably on stream. It would be good. I will try to do it in the coming months. 9 recreational player. I'm going to take this spot. I'm going to be involved. I think this is a recreational player again, the same one. We just want to be involved here. I'm going to call flop. I'm not too dissuaded by this. We should have some folds against this, but not too many. Once they start bluffing random hands here, they're going to overbluff this sizing. And we have 2 delicious boat outs and the chance to bluff some run outs as well. Will I bluff this run out? Honestly, against this player, no. It's juicy though. Maybe shove is still higher EV. Just be quite stationary. This is such a good bluff spot though. I'm so near bottom of range. I'm actually going to take this spot, guys. If they've checked to trap with like aces, ace, king, they're probably not going to fold. But there's 10s, queens, jacks. All of these hands are the main target of this. Sometimes, of course, we just have the best hand. I think it's an incredibly believable line and one where you probably do want to take the bottom of range and bluff with it. It's annoying about the villain type because I do think that's like a weird recreational that might just randomly call stuff. But against like an ABC reg, that spot is absolutely printing to bluff. Like you always want to bluff there. Always, always. I think I'll cold call 9s against this stack in this VPIP. Glad to hear it, that the videos have helped you. U3BI4B on YouTube. It's a random recreational player as well, yeah? Okay, show me what you got. Oh, you hit the 9, I see. Still not folding any catcher. What's the best line here? Bet fold 2 big blinds. Probably good line. I said I wasn't going to do this today, but again, it's another really good spot for it. And check. Probably check fold river here. Third pot, I mean, still. The bluff like ace, king, ace, queen. Bet so fast. I think I almost never win, guys. That said, it is some random third pot, but it's an 18 VPIP under the gun, doing it very quickly. I think hero fold there is good. By the way, when I time out fold, it's because I'm almost certainly folding, but I've just not like fully decided yet. Because I'm slow and it's morning. And yeah. Glad you like the recent series. I think a lot of people are liking it. I'm just trying to be careful to always come with the disclaimer that, you know, these are starting point strategies. It's not necessarily the only way you can play these spots. I'm going to follow through this time with this hand. I think this is a good candidate. It's a question of sizing. You go for this sizing. We have a lot of value on this line. This is definitely one of our most premium bluffs in this line. 5-3 gets there as well in river. This is a great spot for range. If I wasn't me, I'd be like highly confident in this working like 90% of the time plus. Needs to work about 68% of the time to break even to be better than a give up. But because I am me, I don't know. Most of the regs know who I am, so there's a chance they hear a bit. I do say targeting sometimes, Leadbone. I do. There's a time and a place for targeting. I just don't like it when it's used in the wrong way. Got you. Is there no animation when I show my cards, or does it just not show my cards, guys? Let me know. We're just bluffing to stay alive today, man. We're just bluffing because like we're getting good spots to bluff and hitting nothing. Card dead session. A card dead session. So targeting is bad when you don't know what to do and you're confused and you randomly just choose a part of the opponent's range to think about, because it makes it easier for you to only think about one part of it at a time, but it's not like a representative part or big part or majority, and you just say, I'm targeting that hand. And people do that as a cop-out. And targeting's good when you say, oh, wait a minute, the opponent's range is almost certainly ace high here, and I'm going to target that by going X. Now, I've got two choices when it comes to targeting. I can either critique all the times it's used incorrectly and be hard on it, or I can like use it all the time. And I think if I chose the latter, people would just abuse it and misuse it, and just, it would be a riot. It'd be a mess. Okay, finally we get to jam over one of these big 4-bets with ace king suited. I go b75 here. Finally we get to jam, guys. Aha, okay. One of these days. Folded to a million cold 4-bets. Finally get to jam ace king suited. Don't even know if I jam ace king off. Aces. Queen. Nope. Okay, we're certainly going to give up the turn here after b75 gets called against this player. All that work. You know, this is why when you track the medium term and you're like, my session results, it's just a recipe for madness, because like there's really nothing we can do about any of this today. This could just be king jack and stuff sometimes, but it's just not the right time to go bet check bet bluff, really. Or board or player. Just not the right time. Okay, we are going to go Bearski here. Polar Bearski. It's been a fun few days streaming. I've enjoyed bringing you guys this content. Let me know what you want to see next. Now that we've finished this like rotation of all the player types and stuff. Not to say I won't just do streams like this, but what other kind of streams or videos would you want to see? Is there anything that you think would be really good? Not just for you, but also like that the population at large would like to see. Any gaps in the market, things that are undercovered, things that could do with a bit more love. I have some showdown value here with queen high. We do have some showdown value. Like, the question is, what's our fold equity like against like pocket pairs? It's like okay. Against a king, it's terrible. Against an ace, it's pretty terrible generally. I'm inclined to just check and win occasionally here in this spot. Our range is like absolute toast there. It's one of those spots where, like, if you just bluff randomly, you know, into the stronger range, it can be a bit dicey. Let's throw in a 3-bet here. And another one here, but this one's going to be smaller because of stacks. Going to be 3-bet folding a thin value hand like this. You don't want to go too big against the stack. I'm going to go small here with any 3-bet though. Let's start with a check here. So we're playing the bigger strategy today. Appeal this. One of the few hands and prices I want to appeal at 4-bet as. Here we're playing big bet check on turn. I think it's like close, very, very close between checking and betting. They're not actually meant to be able to do this, because the thing is, we do have some ace king, ace queen, etc. here. They should play jam almost never in this spot. We're basically saying we have ace king, ace queen. That king is very bad though, because when they have kings, and they might not even 3-bet, 4-bet queens in these positions, this is just a massively strong range now, unfortunately. We're just going to pray for a free one here. I think this is like the most underfolded spot ever. We can absolutely mine here though. For this price, we are getting odds here with implieds factored in comfortably. When you factor in the implieds. Weird turn bet. In it to win it with 3s against 38 VPIP. Not really a spot I win a 3-bet. It is one of these days, yeah. We're just running bad today. It happens. Obviously, no pair is going to be a fold to range bet here. It is a heavy losing day, probably like 4 buy-ins, I think. Oh, heavy losing day meaning given the possible distributions of one morning, like obviously 4 buy-ins is nothing, but for this distribution, it's something. This is such a stupid spot. It's a 38 VPIP. Could go giant here or check. Gets kind of uncapped by this river again. I think it's better just to check. I'll fold on this texture, but I'm usually just snapping that line. It's one of the few spots I'll fold is when it's like impossible to miss. Well, it's not impossible, but it's hard. It might still be a call, honestly. You're going to lose to the fish merges there as well, like the 7s and things like that, though. What time is it for me? It's 11:14. You go like B40 on this board is the polar bear version. And at this SPR, we're going to always be betting this hand on turn, but we're not going to go too big. This hand just is too juicy to bluff. It's got premium outs. It does not really have a recourse after checking. And SPR doesn't warrant a big bet there, so you're just going to go small. How was my Easter? Yeah, it was right. Went for lunch on Saturday. One of our favourite little spots. Went to soft play. Took the kid to soft play. Let him run around a little bit. Let him try to climb up stuff and go down slides and just generally fall over a lot and go, uh-oh. That's what he says at the moment every time he falls over, uh-oh. Or like he drops a bit of banana this morning, uh-oh, uh-oh. It's quite funny. It's talking, it's coming along though. And then sister came over, brought some gifts over for him. And he played with some more toys, and then we went for yesterday we went and played bridge, the wife and I, which is a bit rare these days. We don't do that a lot. Recreational player here. I'm just going to be in it to win it, but this is same idea. And slight overbet against this stack. Don't need to go for giant overbet here. Gonna appeal. Too many good things can happen. Can have best hand. Lots of good things can happen. That would be a straight. Ace queen very likely to have 3-bet me pre here, so it's effectively nutty. I go very big on this turn, even though the SPR is short. This is the sort of spot where villain's going to have a lot of auto calls anyway. And some less auto calls. I mean, he is big blind. Actually, no, I've changed my mind. I'm not going to go massively big. I'm just going to be 75. He's 5. Let's call this time. You can pick like 5 spots and do 30 minutes on each of them. Like turn probing, get like node work. It's more the sort of stuff I put into a course, but it's reasonable. This is never a bluff. Just want to get this in now, just in case there's like some 4-liner that kills action. I don't think there will be. Okay. You can run it twice. That's fine by me, my friend. I'm running really bad today, so you'll probably win both. Okay, so you got recreational player here and many recreationals behind. Maybe you shouldn't reopen. Maybe you should just call it. I don't know. These spots fascinate me pre because they're all really, really close. Like they're all like it depends who's in the blinds, what's going on. See, this is the problem with reopening. This is the bad. It's not to say it's wrong, but this is the bad branch when you reopen. That happens sometimes. I'm gonna have to fold at this SPR. It's just too strong a range to dominate a hand, and of course the implied odds are not there as they normally would be against that stack. Yeah, 3-betting has a lot of merit because you just want to play 3-bet pots, but with that hand, with the other fish behind, I think call may actually be better. May have missed a little trick there. I think call may be a bit better without being results oriented. Pete, did you like Rabsy Nesbitt? I've never really watched Rabsy Nesbitt. It's one of those Scottish things I never watched. I watched a lot of Chewing the Fat back in the day when I was a kid, but not Rabsy Nesbitt. I think that was a bit before my time, and I just never really got into it. Don't know. think we played okay today. Like not super happy with how I played. Some spots are good. Some spots we played well, other spots not so well. 3x here, printing on button, recreational small blind. These are the best spots in the game. Obviously checking flop when you're playing polar bear here. And checking turn. How often is this a queen? I don't think very often. We'll just turn this into a bluff raise. I think call it. It just has like a king or an ace like all the time here. Just turn this into a bluff raise and say we have a queen. It's very believable that we have a queen. Why wouldn't we have a queen? Why wouldn't we? Bluff game's been on point today. Liking my bluff game today. Some good content for shorts. Might work a bit on some reels. I'm going to start an Instagram, guys. Well, I've already started one. I just haven't built it yet. I'm going to tell you what it is so you can follow it and you can help me out. So I want to try and build a following. Is that what it's called on Instagram? I'm a boomer to these things. I'm new to these things, but my Instagram is what the fuck is it again? Carrot Corner Poker. I don't remember the notation of it. Let me look at my phone a second. I'll tell you what my Instagram is and you can follow me if you're on Instagram. That would be good. That would be appreciated. So just decided I'm going to do this like the other week just to start branching out with our exposure and stuff. Fives, I mean, against under the gun, we're just not going to be calling here. Carrot Corner Poker, all one word, all lowercase. I'm not sure if case matters, but yeah. Follow me. Let's build a following. Don't know what villain's doing here. No idea. But there's another way to play this hand. Scanning table. You see that I always scan the table. This is a real strength, guys. Like if you auto-click fold pre and stuff without scanning the table, you're throwing away money. It doesn't take long to cultivate the habit of scanning. And once you're in the scanning mode, like you're just going to generate EV by playing more accurately. There's so many hands you just want to be involved in that you wouldn't normally with this recreational players on the table. Just so many spots like that. But it's such a winning spot at low stakes poker. It's just like so much more winning than it is in theory. A very, very good spot to do stuff generally. Definitely want to peel this always out the blind against 41 VPIP. This hand needs to mine. This guy gets it. He understands. And we understand as well, so we're involved. Snap folding there without thinking, really costly when you got the 41 VPIP. You need to be involved with these players. Some of them are losing at like 40 VP per 100. Not being involved with them is one of the biggest mistakes that I see. Again, going a bit bigger here, reg versus reg. Just building today a bit more polar, a bit more selective, playing some cold calls. Not 3-betting 8 so much, you know, that sort of thing. I'm going to check here, get a bit of transparency with the recreational. It's under the gun here. I think betting would be a bad idea. It's a low fold equity spot, low realizability spot. Nutted out. It's not really. 7's good, but the 6 is good too, actually, in this particular node. Yeah, both the 7 and the 6 are okay. Is this like worth peeling for implied odds? Well, the diamond 7 and the 6 are going to kill action. The diamond 7's impossible. 7 of diamonds is on board. That's one thing. I don't think we can peel this though. I don't think it's quite there. Is there MDA comparing different pools across sites and buy-in levels? Trends change for 2026. So MDA has two layers to it. There's a meta layer, which is like how a certain smaller pool is playing with itself at higher stakes. Like if you look at like the 1KNL ignition meta or something, that's going to be like a sensitive meta that changes a lot based on what bots or regs are currently around, depending on whether there are bots. You know, there were at some point in some of these other sites. Not to name any names, but yeah, bots are a thing. I should just open the 10-9. I was just lost in thought. So in these really small pools, there's going to be a meta, and you need to know what that is, and it's going to change really rapidly. In a game like this, like the fish are just going to be the fish eternally. and they're going to play in a certain way. And the regs, while the stronger ones are going to be playing in like the way that works against the general pop, which is also kind of like evergreen, the weaker regs, so I'm just mid rant, so I'm just avoiding playing that hand for now. The weaker regs are going to be just doing the same things wrong. The recreationals are going to be doing the same things wrong. So the data that we cover in Grady of Carrot Poker School, which is part of Golden Carrot Pass, that's kind of evergreen as long as you're playing against a big pool against like a weak reg or a recreational. But when you're playing like a higher stakes player at a smaller pool, the meta changes so quickly that like making courses about it is like kind of redundant anyway. So again, it's like a tale of two extremes. Like either the meta is like really constant and humans are humans, or you're in a spot where it's just changing really, really quickly and there's not much to do. Go a bit bigger here, deeper. Kind of annoying with ace. I just have to fold, I guess. This particular combo. We're playing pure check with this hand and B66 or something like this here. Again, going to be playing quite big here, just building around king. Villain checks back turn very quickly. What have they got here? Some pair, nothing, a jack, something like this. 10-9. It's going to go for block here. How much are they going to bluff like 5s or 6s if I check? That's really what it comes down to. Maybe more than I think, actually. Maybe more than I think. Very underbluff spot from me for all sizes, probably. If I'm being honest. Let's squeeze this one up. Oh, I did not notice it's 45 big blinds, so I have to go with this now. That's okay, though. They have like loads of pocket pair and things. This is very awkward. The thing is, there's enough fold equity. We have quite a good draw here. And there's enough fold equity from better hands that I'm just going to bluff the flop here and then be live-ish when they jam. Be ahead of some draws. Okay, we're not live-ish when they jam that. That is, you got me. You got me. What can I say? You got me. You deserve it. You deserve the pot, my friend. Well done. Good old call kings, double thing pre. So on that flop, they can fold like ace 5, ace 4, ace queen, ace 10. They dominate us, and then when we run it against the pair or a jack, we're still pretty live. So pretty clear, just flop jam. I just made it a bit smaller than jam just to like, I don't know, play mind games. I don't know what I'm doing. Just doesn't really matter. Much you bench press, Pete? I don't bench press. But I mean, I do, but like not like trying to bench press really heavy shit. I just do like some reps with stuff that's not that hard to bench press. I don't even know, like I don't pay that much attention. I don't really work out much. I run. I'm a runner. I don't really do a lot of strength training. I find it really boring. Like I struggle to get into the habit of doing it. I don't get anything out of it, like endorphin wise, if that makes sense. It kind of just feels bad. But with running and cardio, it feels really good. So like I just do the thing that feels good, and I run. Then I eat way too much and undo all my progress. That's my cycle. I love running. I run 10Ks all the time, and I run like a bit longer sometimes too. Try and run like 3-4 times a week. 2 slower runs, 1 like interval training beast run, that sort of thing. Yeah, I love running. It's definitely my thing. Back when I used to go to the gym, it felt like such a chore because there's like the driving to the gym, then there's doing stuff you don't like doing all the workouts you're just not fun, that aren't fun, and yeah, I don't know. I just never got it. I just never got the bug of like being a strength training guy. I just can't do it. Like I mean, I can do it, but I just don't enjoy it at all. And you need all the equipment, or you need a gym, like it's 20 minutes or so to like my nearest gym. Like nah, I just making peace with the fact that I don't do enough strength training. I know I should, because I know it's really good for your health and it's really good for longevity, and that's what I care about. I don't care about like how much you bench, bro. Like I don't really care about that. I care more about being healthy as I get older and stuff for my family. But yeah, I should do a bit more of it. I do a lot of like carrying shit about, like just like carrying hay to feed goats and all this bullshit that I've got to do, right? Because my wife insisted we got goats a while back. So I feel like I do like some stuff, but probably not enough strength stuff, to be honest. Right, guys, I'm going to wrap this up shortly. Been a fun stream. Not so good with the results, but happens. I'm going to go the half pot strat with Polar Bear in this spot. Villain's going to have some 7, some gutter, some 10, some overcard, some ace high. All of this is going to call some underpair. pay close attention to this, what this range is doing. And then on turn, you're generally going to be play a lot of block with your hand on certain turn cards there. It's an okay way to go. But we're not really doing that today. The polar bear strat, it just looks like normal poker, right? You just start off with the bigger flops, so you bet that's really it, and you check more flops. That's really all that you're noticing. It's just a game plan. It's a way of starting the game tree. You have to ask yourself, what nodes do I like? Do I like playing these turn and river spots that you see me playing today after like flop goes check check? Or do you prefer just betting flop and then having the turn barrel opportunity? That's the biggest fork in the road. Just going slightly bigger today again with the 3-bets, playing a bit more cold call. I could have cold called here actually, this guy in the big blind. Looks like he just wants to cold call anyway though. This is so awkward. This guy's so nitty as well, but like there's the fish to think about. Just hoping he's just gonna call and not play jam and reopen, because that sucks. Don't know, that's close. Good news is this should be played pretty transparently now. Ace king in these spots. This is like super close. He wants the bet turn. I guess I'm gonna have to fold. I actually don't mind folding ace king there, by the way. It's like super close. I'm gonna have to fold here. Sucks. I nearly folded pre. Least you get to see it, right, guys? I think that's a good time to wrap up. Boom, the ace. The ace ball. Super awkward spot for jacks. Maybe just a full pre, honestly, if I'm playing a game. Yeah, no, absolutely. I've been doing a bit of reading on that. Ruse Jabronis again on Twitch. I've been doing a bit of reading on that. And yeah, like strength and cardio. I want to do both. I will get the strength going at some point. Right, guys, sorry we couldn't spin it up today. It was a pretty awful session variance-wise. I think we pulled off a few good bluffs. Could have been a bit more disciplined in a couple of spots. Didn't play badly given the session. Maybe give myself a B minus today, which is okay. And you can see that polar bear style. You're just playing bigger bets earlier in the game tree and then dealing with what happens, what ensues. You play less turn and river nodes in bigger medium-sized pots. You play a lot smaller pots. You end a lot of hands. It's probably a style where you have like an okay red line, but not fantastic. But anyway, as a Easter sale, just to remind you, this one is still £80 off. You can save 20% on the Silver Carrot if you're looking to get started. Hard close tonight, guys, at 12 p.m. Silver Carrot is Carrot Poker School Grade 1. That's 11 videos, all about an hour long, with including a feedback exam video and exam for you to complete. Cash Injection and True EV are our exploitative courses that we bring you at that stage in your poker learning, and access to the Silver Library, which contains about 40-ish videos to supplement your learning. Gold has the Golden Library. It has the full Carrot Poker School 1, 2, 3, and E, Weapons of War, Cash Injection, True EV, our complete system, loads of other stuff we'll release in the future as well. That currently comes with a stat review and is 10% off. So yeah, we'll see you back here on another stream later in the week. I'll try and get a date to stream with Stu. It won't be Friday because I'm out Friday morning. But yeah, we did all the styles. We didn't do the Menace, which I'm kind of glad about. This was the only one. We did 3 streams. This was the only one that didn't get spun. And I'm kind of glad because I wouldn't have put the mask on for the whole thing. Yeah, just remember, guys, when you go to the McDonald's drive-thru later, you need to spin the wheel and you might go as the Menace. And that will mean just trolling them instead of ordering food, or like ordering food and then taking it back and complaining. You're being a menace. Or you might decide to go to the McDonald's drive-thru as the warrior and then just pick fights with everyone. You know, you can think about how to implement these styles in your daily life. Anyway, I've been Pete Clark. This is Carrot Corner. Top link in the description to check out our stuff and to embark on our poker education. You've got until midnight tonight, UK time, 7 p.m. Eastern time, 3 p.m. Is that right? No, 4 p.m. Pacific time.